Alright, I bought a new bike.
Yeah, boy.
I bought a KTM 990 Adventure for the price of 8,500 euros. And then you probably think, is this guy nuts? Well, a little bit. But also, it was a completely original bike with 17,000 kilometers only on it. And yeah, I'm gonna tell you my reasoning in this video and do a little review about my first almost 2,000 kilometers on this bike. So why did I buy it? So why did I buy this bike? First of all, I won't bore you with any statistics that you can find on Google. I will just put it in the description. Every statistic that can be found, every reviewer did this over the past years already, of course. So I will just go to why did I buy this bike? Last year I had a pretty awesome Husqvarna Northern 901 that I sold, and sometimes I still regret this, but I was looking for a new bike. So after a lot of thoughts, I came to the conclusion that there's too many GS BMWs out there. Perfect bike, nothing is wrong with it, everything is correct, everything is okay with it, but not my cup of tea. So then I started thinking, what will I cross off? So I started with the 10RA, Africa Twin, the KTM 1290 even, and nothing really got me exciting until I thought back to the time when I was a kid and I was watching Dakar, and there were these bikes going with helicopter view, going over the dunes with these riders on it that are just pretty insane, going over the dunes and everything. So then I thought, I want to try and buy one of these, but I want one in a good condition. So after a long search, I came across this one, and as you can see, the state of it is just really good. So at this moment it has 18,850 kilometers. I bought it at 17,000. So this is the 990 KTM Adventure, which was of course the follow-up from the 950 that was most used in Dakar. And it is proven over time, over the last 15 years, because this bike is 15 years old at the moment, that it's a very reliable bike. That's why I also was drawn to it and searching for one. So this bike really has no bolt or anything with rust on it. It's really, yeah, I'm driving now in bad weather because it's a little bit dirty, but the state of it is just really good. With, when I bought it, 17,000 kilometers. So then I picked it up, I bought it, I emailed the dealership that I'm gonna buy it, I wired the money, and I was gonna go and pick it up. And then after 150 kilometers, the gearbox broke down on me actually. So that was pretty interesting. And I must say this was pretty rare. And I'm very happy that the Motor Corner, where I bought it, replaced it on their cost, with no cost for me. It took a little while, about 2 months, but I was very happy with it. And then I had a completely original, factory new almost, I would say, KTM 990. So I've driven 2,000 kilometers with it, and as you can see, it's not as stock as it was when I bought it. So I will go a little bit over what I did so far. First of all, I've put this Raid Garage cockpit on it, which is made of carbon, which on the outside is very detailed. The headlight is replaced by this LED headlight, which is very nice. Gives a little bit more modern look, modern classic look, what I'm going for. Put me down 539 euros, but the look is way better than its original. I think it's more of the style as it should be in 2024. And then I put the double take mirrors. They're a little bit more adjustable, more for off-roading. They don't break, they will just get detached, as you can see when you fall or something. And also they are way less vibrating when you drive on the highway, which is the big win as well. Then I put LED indicators, which gives the bike a way more modern look, I would say. The mirrors put me back 180 euros. The LED indicators put me back 150 euros. Then I put the aero exhaust. The aero exhaust, the sound is really cool. The aero exhaust put me back around 700 euros. And then a cool feature of this bike is that it has a dual fuel cap, as you can see here. And normally you have to get this off with this tank is equipped with a tank on each side. You have to fill them separately. So normally you have to do this with the key and then stick it in here, and then you can unlock it and then refuel it. So I switched this over to a unscrewing one, which is way easier, and then you can just refill and screw it back on. My bike is parked in a garage, so then it's totally fine. There's no risk that anybody would put anything in it or steal the fuel. And the dual, it looks cool as well. I think it looks cooler than the one from factory. It's from the brand Locomoto, and it put me back around 185 euros. And then as last, I ordered actually a total design, but then and then last but not least, I put a little bit different design on it. I ordered a total design of Red Bull and Repsol, the fuel. But then I was halfway and I thought this actually looks cool to keep it also a little bit original. And then also the design here and here with 990 Adventure and with the number 11, which is my lucky number. And then the suspension is the brand WP, which is very good, I must say. 10,500 something euros down the drain because the tank was empty, so 10,540 euros. So how did I experience it so far? It's quite the price comes quite close to a new bike, I must say, to a new bike. And although it looks very good, it is 15 years old. So it's starting to rain, but then the question is, how did I experience it so far? And this I will answer now. And here we are. It is a nice rainy day, and I'm gonna tell you how my experience is so far with the bike. Actually, it's really good. So I will do a little pro and cons list from this bike. I will start with the pros. That's of course most obvious. So besides that it's an epic bike, I think it looks really good. The seating position is great. The material usage is very good because after 15 years there's not a single bit of rust and not a single bolt that doesn't come off completely, which is very nice. The engine is from the Super Duke that came out back then, the first Super Duke, which is very good. It has about 100 horsepower and it goes very well through the revs as well. It has a little bit of wider range in revs than the 950 had, which is very good. A little bit more modern feeling to this bike. Then a great upside to this bike is it keeps its value, it holds its value. I bought it for a lot of money, I understand, but all these bikes are going up in value when you look them up on the internet right now, which is very nice. So that's it's a good investment to buy. It has a 21-inch front wheel and a 18-inch back wheel. It makes it perfect capable for off-road, and I can really understand why Ewan McGregor chose this bike to go around the world, which he did in his special. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth watching. So, and then the last pro I would say is this bike inspires confidence. So it takes you get on the bike, you start driving, and you just feel like I can go anywhere on any service, and the bike will say, I got you buddy, we will go there. And that's a great feeling. It's a great feeling that this bike gives you that confidence for a 15-year-old bike. I mean, modern bikes, and that's also where I come to the con list of the bike, modern bikes have all this traction control, wheelie control, off-road, and this bike doesn't have it, so that's the first con. And then the biggest issue there, or not, let's say the biggest miss I would say, if you go traveling for a long distance, and especially in countries where you go, where you don't have so many gas stations and whatnot, is it doesn't have a fuel gauge. and not even a fuel gauge. There's no range indication. It only says when you're going on reserve, and that's it. So there's quite a big fuel tank, which is nice. But if you would be going to Eastern Europe, Africa or somewhere else, you really need to calculate how much fuel you need to bring, because you have no idea based on the indication the bikes can give. And then of course it doesn't have the traction control, it doesn't have the wheelie control, it doesn't have heated grips, but that's adjustable, it doesn't have a quick shifter, but that makes it also raw and nice to drive. So yes, it's more manual than you're used to with new modern bikes, but it is lacking those features. Then another one is when you drive on low RPM and especially on low speed. The Super Duke was of course made to go on higher speed, twisty roads, which does this bike perfectly, but the fuel lumping is a little bit bad on lower speed, so that the bike starts to has difficulties on slow speed. So you feel that it's having difficulties with the fuel. Now I read that you can do a remapping on the ECU, which I might do, and then it might be better, but it never goes away. And of course the bike is 15 years old, so you have to take good care of it, good maintenance and everything, because even though it's used with premium materials, it is 15 years old and it does need a little bit of care. So that's of course what I'm gonna do well. And then last thing, which is to my belief not really bad or a con, but of course the dashboard really shows off the age of the bike. Although I'm a big fan of analog meters, it does show that this bike is of course older than the current age of bike. But besides that, I'm really happy with the bike. I drove it in many conditions, twisty roads, I drove it into the Alps, I've been up to the Timmelsjoch with -1 degree snow falling down and snow on the sides, and still it gives great confidence. It's really good to drive. It's a narrow seat, this bike, which is nice. It's made for off-roading. The modern bikes have a little bit more wider seats for more comfort, so that's also a con and a pro, because it's a little bit more narrow and therefore on a long trip a little bit less comfortable. You have to get used to it. I had that as well. But overall, I'm really happy with the bike. So there it is, my new bike, my new channel. I started a new channel for this bike. I hope you guys liked the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe below, so I can grow the channel and I will make more and more videos for you guys. This was the first video to introduce the bike, to introduce myself a little bit, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you in the next one. Ciao!